Okay, spectators, this should be the last video, I swear. And I'm loving this story so far. And the crying that you heard earlier, that was actually me crying. Yeah, so let's continue with this sad story. Alright. I couldn't help but laugh a little from her astratic attitude. Better yet, the rumors on the internet were true. Her mane did smell like cotton candy. I remained silent as I nodded, and then I looked back to Dashie, who also wore a smile on her face. The ponies all returned to Dashie as Twilight's horn began to glow once more. "Are you ready now, Rainbow?" Twilight asked again. Returning to Dashie and starting her magic, she simply nodded as she closed her eyes and waited for the inevitable. It seemed time slowed down as Twilight's horn approached Dashie's forehead. My mind began focusing on random memories of us together. I can vividly remember the splashing of the bathtub for her bath time splashing of her bathtub from her bath times before she showered herself. I can still taste our many failed attempts at baking and cooking in general. I still smell the outdoors from our times at the park, where she was able to spread her wings. There were so many memories that I simply had to shut off my brain so that I could keep myself focused on Dashie. A single tear ran down her left cheek as I could see her eyes moving under her lids. Her mind was doing the same thing as mine was, focusing on fondest memories all at once. For this would be the last time we would ever see one another. Finally, Twilight's horn touched Dash's forehead. There was a bright light, and when I could see again, they were all gone. All the ponies had disappeared. Through my tears, I sighed in relief. It felt wrong, and I also felt right. She was now the normal Rainbow Dash that belonged in Ponyville. I stood in the living room for several more minutes, just staring, blinking at the empty floor that Dashie had been standing at just moments before. And then I looked around the room and took notice to my surroundings. I noticed things were different. The pictures that once held images of me and Dashie were no longer hung on the walls. Many of the random personal items of hers were scattered around the living room floor were gone as well. I was confused, so I ran up to her bedroom to look. When I opened the door, what I saw instead of her NASCAR and air show posters, mixed with her bed and other furnishing, was a simple office, a cheap desk with a computer on it, and an ugly looking potted plant. It took me some time to digest what I was experiencing. Before I realized what must have happened, it made sense, but still stung me in the chest. To make sure nothing happened between the worlds, Celestia must have removed any existence of Dashie had ever been here, being with me 15 years, all down the drain, as her existence was wiped from the planet. I felt as though all those years were of not wasted, as I wouldn't be able to remember her. And yet, my memories still linger of her. I could remember everything as if it were still as vivid as when they happened. Then, the thought clicked. She did something with her magic when she touched me with her horn. Did she protect my memories so that I could remember her? Had she done the same for Dashie? I walked back upstairs. I walked back downstairs and into the living room. While I thought, on the coffee table sat a book. I recognized it. It was my photo album. I sat down on my couch, opened it up to the first page. There was my mother and father with me shortly after I was born. I continued flipping through them, looking at my own past, and there was a gap from my parents' death. But to keep my mother's dream going, I had picked it back up, made false pictures of happy times and enjoying my life to stick into her book of memories. Then I opened to a piece of paper. I picked it up and immediately recognized the handwriting, or more correct, mouth writing. I speculated this was what she'd written down before she left. Dad, for 15 years you took care of me. For 15 years you loved me, played with me, and made sure I enjoyed my life in a world that was not meant to house me. I'm not a man of many words, but even though I told you this in person, I felt you needed a written version of it so that you will know it was all real. I love you, Daddy. You helped shape me into the man I am now. I'm not sure what is going to happen, if I will remember any of this or not, but I want you to know that you did a darn good job of raising me. Even if I was a bit stubborn at times or short with you during others, with Celestia's permission, I hope to allow you to keep our photos or memories with you so that you will never forget. Again, I love you and thank you. Your little daughter always. Your little Dashie forever. Rainbow Dash. I set the note back into the page, flattening it with my hand as I felt the dried tear marks littering the paper. I read the note over and over again until I had it memorized. Then I turned the page and was greeted with Dashie's Philly smile. So now I sit here, looking through my photo album and our time together. Her first bath, her first words, her first drawings, and even her first printed feather. All in this book of memories. Everything else in the house was gone. But what I had put into this book still remains. I don't dare ever change that either. I will continue adding onto it to show that those years with her not helped only shaped her, but it helped shape me as well. I am a new man from what I was 15 years ago, changed, even after since by sheer miracle of fortunate events that transpired from somewhere I cannot even speculate. If I had never gone back to check the box, if I had done something differently than I had, could have changed everything between us. I guess I'm lucky that it all worked out, and I can gladly say I have achieved my parents' only wish, for me to be happy. Though I am saddened, I am still happy for the time I had with her. I now sit alone in this empty house staring at my mother's rainbow picture, with a smile plastered on my face. Every time I see it, I think of Dashie. I should be crying, but I should feel horrible and want nothing but my daughter back. And yet, I feel relieved to know that everything is alright. She didn't run away, she didn't leave on bad terms, she is gone, home, to where she belongs, and is safe. I look back down I look back down at my photo album, turning to the page after our most recent photos. The pages are blank. Still have a lot of life ahead of me, and I plan to make the best of it. For myself, for my little Dashie. The end. Well, I give this story a 10 out of fucking 10 because it made me cry. Send me some more stuff to read. Fuck you very much.